Today I'm going to look at some of the basics in bobbin lace making, as I've been asked how to work a worker pair and also been asked about the gimp. So I'm going to look at both of those today in this short video. The lace that I've got in front of you at the moment is a piece of torsion edging, and torsion means it's worked on a 45-degree grid, as you can see with the angle of the ground. The area, this big area here, is a cloth stitch block, and it's found in virtually all torsion patterns. You start at the pin I've got in already here, and it's taken a pair from the left of the ground and a pair from the right of the ground, and they were cloth stitched together and the pin put in. At this point, if the pattern isn't marked like this one, you decide whether you're going to the left first or the right first, and whichever direction you're going, the one on the opposite side has 2 twists on it, and then you cloth stitch them together. The left hand pair has become the worker. The right hand pair now is a pair of passives, and you hear this in all lace making patterns, whether you're working with bobbin and lace in torsion, books, beds and numerous other ones around the world. The passives are the ones that generally hang straight down and they don't go anywhere. The worker is the one that goes backwards and forwards to work the area. I'll show you in a little while the same sort of situation but in half stitch. This one is in cloth stitch. So now at the next pin I take the next pair and I cloth stitch through those as well. Put 2 twists on and then I put the pin in. And each time I come to the left hand side on this pattern, I'll take a pair of bobbins in extra. You've now got 2 pairs of passives, and as it gets wider on the right hand side I'm taking them in, but then as it goes narrower I'll leave pairs out. So every pin on this pattern has a pair in or out, on this cloth stitch block anyway. So again I work back through and cloth stitch to take another pair in. And put the pin up. So you can see now this pair that is going around the pin that has the twists on, whenever it goes around the pin it has 2 twists. This is the pair of bobbins that's doing all the work, and that's why it's called the worker. Again it's going back through 3 pairs this time and taking another pair in on the left. And you can see the other pairs as they've come in are just sitting there, they're not going anywhere at the moment, and they are known as passives. And you're getting a nice little cloth stitch block. I'll just do a couple more rows before I finish this section of the video and go on to gimps and workers in half stitch as well. Each time you hold the worker pair and you tension them up. Generally you just need to stroke the bobbins to tension them up. Sometimes if you get one with a little loop you have to individually tension the bobbin. That should have 2 twists on as it's coming into the cloth stitch. And you can now see a piece of woven cloth actually forming in the piece of lace. The piece above it is the half stitch, which you perhaps can't see too clearly with all the pins in it. One little tip for beginners is to try and keep your bobbin heads in a similar height, because that makes it much easier to work with your lace. Sometimes they do become long, the hitches drop off, or the worker gets short. And when you get to the end of the row, just have a look at those, keep a check on them and keep them in order. Again, that should have 2 twists on when it's coming into the cloth stitch. Now this is the widest point on this here. The last one has gone into the cloth stitch and you can see the area below it is ground. So at this point I'll leave a pair out. As I say, pairs are either coming in or out on this block. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of the worker in half stitch and also using a gimp thread. This piece of lace is actually taken from the lace samples from Ipswich, Massachusetts by Karen Thompson. And it's all worked in black thread. Because we're working it in black thread, I'm working on a pale grey card, which also helps you to see the threads much more clearly. Now first of all, this shape here is going to be worked in half stitch to go in with the same as the rest of the lace. And also it has to have the gimp thread passed around the shape before we start. A gimp thread is used to outline a shape, a flower, a leaf, a feature within lace, and it occurs in many laces, books, beds, Ipswich laces we have here, and many others. We have 2 twists on before the gimp. We take the gimp thread, which is in this bobbin in my right hand. I'll just zoom back out again. You can see the bobbins. So to take them through a pair of bobbins, you have the pair here going to take it through. You lift the left so that it's going to go under the top thread. Take it through, put it down and put 2 twists on it. This will hold the gimp in the place. And again through, put it down and 2 twists. Now some laces need more or less twists depending on what you're working and the style of lace you're working in. But for this lace it's 2 twists before and 2 after. And I'm going to take it as far around as I can at this stage. Some of the ground needs working as you work the shape, but we can take it around a little way. And then it will just lie on this side with nothing more being worked with it. And we can start working the shape at the top. Now I'm going to be working this in half stitch, and the worker is slightly different in this case. We start with a half stitch and we put an extra twist on, and then the pin goes in the highest hole. Always working the highest hole first. Now this pattern dictates I'm going to go to the left, so the worker is the one on the right hand side again, and it works a half stitch. And take the next one in half stitch, and an extra twist and a pin up. Now you'll notice on half stitch the worker, the only one of the worker pair is the first leading bobbin in the direction you go in, because each time they change pairs. But by putting the extra twist on, this first bobbin is always the worker, and you maintain that throughout the half stitch block. So the worker is just the same. The worker is the one that's going backwards and forwards, but it's swapping its partner each time in half stitch. And again, the rest of the bobbins are still known as passives. I hope that's helped with a few basics of lace making, of cloth stitch workers and half stitch workers, and also a small look at gimps. Gimps are also used in other ways in Bedfordshire to outline veins. There's twisted gimps, there's all sorts of ways of working gimps, but this is the basic way of outlining a shape. I hope that's helped you with your lace making if you're just beginning this journey, Let me know if you've got any questions, anything else you'd like to see videoed. Give me a thumbs up and hopefully subscribe to the channel to hear more notifications when new videos are launched. Lots more in the pipeline. Let me know what you'd like to see. Thanks for watching.